Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Piyush. In this video, we'll be looking into custom resources and custom resource definition in Kubernetes. A little disclaimer in this video as well, like what we do always, there will be no editing, there will be no cuts, no trims. So if I make a mistake, I'll try to resolve that while the recording. And if I have to do troubleshooting, I will do that during the recording as well, and it will be published in the original video. So if you have a short retention span, or if you have a lot of time to go through the entire video, probably you are on the wrong platform or on a wrong channel. I would suggest you to skip the video. Otherwise, if you are someone who is interested in learning how the concept work from the ground level, definitely let's start with the video. Okay, so in this video, first let's go through the custom resources, like what is this concept, because this is one of the recently introduced topic in CK exam. So that's why we are covering it now. What exactly is this custom resources? So you see, in Kubernetes we have many out of the box objects that is available by default to you when you do any Kubernetes installation, whether on cloud or on premises or any way possible. So there are some default objects that's created for you, such as pod, deployment, config map, secret, namespace, replica set, and there are many more. So these are your out of the box objects in Kubernetes. But what if you have to create, let's say you have a requirement in which you need to create a custom resource which is not already present in the Kubernetes installation, and this is something that you have a very specific use case for which you have to create a new resource type itself, not the resource, not the pod, deployment, or container. I'm talking about a new resource type. Like, these are the resource types. So what if you want to create a new resource type as per your requirement? So yes, you can do that by extending Kubernetes API. What do we mean by extending Kubernetes API? Means whatever is already there, you create your own custom resource, or you can create your own logic, you can create your own set of instructions, and then you attach it to the Kubernetes. Okay, so that means you are using the existing Kubernetes, but then you are adding something on top of it. You are extending the capabilities of your Kubernetes cluster by extending its API. Okay, so don't get confused when you see the term how do we extend Kubernetes API, or how do we extend the capabilities of extending existing Kubernetes. So this is how you can do that. Okay, so you can create a new resource type. Okay, but why do we need to do that? Okay, if Kubernetes already provide you so many resources, these many, and there are a lot many. Okay, I need to just pause the recording for a minute. Okay, so what we are talking about is we need to extend Kubernetes API, we need to add a new resource type. But why do we need to do that? Okay, so there would be probably many scenarios that are not already covered by open source Kubernetes. Right? Let's say you have to create a new custom logic, you have to create a new resource type, you have to, let's say, monitor your resources using the Kubernetes itself, or let's say you have to implement GitOps within your Kubernetes without using any additional tool by creating your own set of automations. All those scenarios that are not already covered by open source Kubernetes, you can definitely cover those by writing the code for it, by writing your custom resources for it. Okay, so that's why we use custom resources and custom resource definition. Um, so when you create a deployment, so let's try to relate the custom resource with the existing resources. Okay, so let's say you have an existing resource within Kubernetes, a deployment or a pod, whatever. So when you create a deployment manifest, okay, so you create a YAML file with all the required fields, such as image name, container specifications, metadata, kind, API version, and so on. So all the required fields of a deployment. When you do that, Kubernetes does the validation of those fields, all the fields, with a resource definition of the deployment. Okay, so you cannot just put container image anywhere in the YAML, right? And you cannot just add your own fields that are not there in the definition of the deployment. It has to exactly match with the deployment resource definition, right? So this is a template, right? So when you create a deployment or when you create any Kubernetes resource, you create as per the deployment. Okay, so the fields has to match exactly the same as the template. Also, it has to be at the same place. It should have the same data type. It should have the same set of instructions, right? So this is what happens when you do a deployment, when you create a deployment or any existing Kubernetes resource. When you create a custom resource, it works similarly, right? So you create a custom resource definition. Okay, so this definition is what? It's a template. Okay, so this template will have the um uh sure what's happening. Okay, so this template will have the all the different fields, such as like name of the field, all the fields of the custom resources, how it should be validated, all the supported version, data type of those fields, like whether it is string or it is a list or it's a text or a number, an integer, whatever, right? So all those details will be placed in the custom resource definition, and then you create a manifest of custom resource. Okay, like we create manifest of a deployment. It could be a YAML file, a JSON file, or you do that through the kubectl command in the imperative way. The same way you create the manifest of a custom resource, and then Kubernetes does the validation of all the fields in the custom resource with the custom resource definition. Okay, so here what we do, the CR to CRD mapping. Okay, so custom resource, the custom resource that you create, and then it has to be based on the custom resource definition. So custom resource is nothing but an instance of the CRD. Okay, so CRD is a template, and based of that template, you create a custom resource. Simple. Okay, so I'm sure the basic concept would have been cleared by now. So that's why I was putting a lot of emphasis on that. That's why we have spent almost 7 minutes just talking about the custom resource, so that it's clearly understood while before we go forward, right? Okay, so there are three main objects in the custom resource when you create. So it has a CRD, which is a custom resource definition, the one that we talked about. It has CR, which is the custom resource. This is nothing but an instance of CRD. And then we have a custom controller. Custom controller, what it does, it manages the life cycle of the custom resource. Okay, like when you create a deployment, okay, so deployment is controlled by something called as a deployment controller. Okay, what this controller does, first of all, what is a controller? Controller is something that manages the life cycle of your object. It makes sure that your uh, desired state is always met. Make sure that if you have two replicas in your deployment, your two replicas should always be up and running. So this is done by the deployment controller. So similarly, when you create a custom resource, you have a custom controller option that you can use. So you create your own controller, and you actually instruct this controller to manage the life cycle of your custom resource. Okay, so this is optional, but this is recommended way. This is something that we do in a production environment or in an organization. Okay, so like this is the same example that we have just discussed. For example, if there are three pods in a deployment, so it's the job and responsibility of a deployment controller to watch this deployment and make sure that all the pods are running all the time. If there is a crash, if there one of the pods get stuck somewhere, stopped, so it's the job of a deployment controller to instruct kubelet to start the or to restart the pod. Okay, so let's understand a high level diagram of a custom resource and the life cycle of it, like how do we create it, what are all the different components and how they are related to each other. Okay, so for example, a DevOps engineer creates a custom resource definition. Okay, so this custom resource definition is what? It's a template. When you create a deployment, you don't have to create the deployment definition because it's already been created when you installed or when you installed your Kubernetes cluster. But in case of a custom resource, because it has to be custom, it is as per your use case. So a DevOps engineer creates a custom resource definition. Okay. Then a developer or a user or an operator, whoever is maintaining the application, creates a custom resource which is based on the CRD. Okay. So let's say there are certain fields in it, such as replicas, there is version, there is release, right? If there are these fields inside your custom resource, so it has to be there in the custom resource definition at the exact same place. Okay, only then the validation will be passed. So once you create the custom resource, Kubernetes does the validation with the CRD, and you will get the error if the field does not match, or if you create something that is not as per the definition or the template. Then DevOps engineer also creates a custom controller. Okay, this is an optional step, but you can also create a custom controller that watches your custom resource all the time. Okay, it makes sure that the desired state is always met. Okay, it makes sure that whatever it's supposed to do, it is doing its work, and it makes sure that it is as per the requirement, it is as per how you created the definition. Okay, so I think that's yeah, that's the definition part of it, that's the theory part of it. We now jump into the demo of custom resources and custom resources definition. So let me just share my screen, and I'm gonna put this away. Okay, so I have written down the instructions very clearly in the GitHub repository. You can follow along, or you can practice it from there. But I would still suggest to watch the video, because I will be explaining some of these as we go along. Okay, so I have also a lab, code cloud lab that I will be using. But you can use your own. You can also use your own Kubernetes installation. It could be Minikube, kind, any managed cloud service, anything will be fine. Okay, so this is the one that I will be choosing. Let's start the lab, and so I'll be following these instructions so that I have written over here. So first, we'll clone this sample repository, which has a sample controller. We will not be installing controller in this video. It will be little out of scope. Plus, I like creating your custom controller or using it would be out of scope from CK perspective, but I'll just clone the repo so that I can use the other manifest from it. Okay, so I'm gonna use git clone and cd into sample controller. Okay, now I'm gonna create the custom resource definition from this YAML. So let's open this YAML and let me show you what does it have. Okay, let's clear the screen, and I'm gonna just expand this a little further. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, I hope this is visible. Okay, and let's increase the size, open in a new window maybe. Yeah, this is much better. Okay. Okay, so let's do a VI on the subresource.yaml that we, oh, it's not there. Am I not in the current directory? Oh, because I have, yeah, let's go inside sample controller, and let's do a VI on the artifacts. Okay, so what does it have? It has a resource of kind custom resource definition. As you can see, the name is foo.samplecontrollers.k8s.io. Okay, so this is the name of the custom resource. So when you do, let's say, when you will do get custom resource definition, you will see this name over there. I'll show you that. Then it has some annotations, and it has the specifications. Okay, specification in this will provide all the details, such as the version that it will support. So as we can see, we have set the version as v1 alpha 1. Okay, then you go down, you check the other the specification, like whether it is served, storage is true, you can use the storage along with it. And then we have the specifications over here. This specification, like we have specification in a deployment YAML or a pod YAML. So these are all the fields inside that. What are all the fields? So we have deployment name, okay, which is of type string. We have replicas, which is of type string. We have minimum and maximum number of replicas. Okay, so it has fields as deployment name and replica. So these are two specifications of that custom resource definition. Okay, and then it will have the, so there is this metadata that get generated automatically, right? You don't write it, but when you create the object, you will see a status field in the YAML. So in the status field, you will see available replicas, which is the type of integer. Okay, and then have name, which is of kind foo, plurals is foos, and this is a namespace scope object. So it could be a cluster scoped or a namespace scoped, right? So this is a namespace scoped object, and you can also find it with the name foo. So the kind is foo, like we have kind as deployment, kind as pod. So this kind is foo. Okay. So let's apply this YAML. I'm gonna use kubectl apply. Oops. Okay, let me just change the prompt size to something uh, shorter and something that is easily readable on the screen. Let's see. Oops, what did I do? Okay, it should be, I guess, PS1. No, probably I cannot set it over here, or I'm doing something wrong. Let's see. PS1 is equal to, um, no, it's not working, I guess, over here. Anyways, so let's just apply that YAML kubectl apply hyphen f, and where was the YAML? Okay, so either create or either apply, both will work. Okay, it says created. Now if I do kubectl get CRD, okay, so you will see your custom resource definition. So these are the already existing one, but this is the something that you have just created, and its name is foos.samplecontrollers.k8s.io. So if I do kubectl get foo, you won't see anything because we have not created the custom resource yet. Okay, we just have created the definition of it. Okay, so let's proceed further. This is what we have checked already. Let's create the custom resource of type foo. Before that, let's check the YAML, what's there inside it. Okay, so vi and this. Okay, so it has two fields. So the API version is sample controller k8s io, and the version is v1 alpha 1. So this is something we have already seen in the definition. Okay, this is your group, this is your version. Okay, then kind is foo. Okay, it was there, and then metadata name is example foo. You can give it any name you want, and then these two were the fields inside that custom resource definition: the deployment name and the replicas minimum was 1, maximum was 10. So if you enter anything more than 10, okay, in fact let me show you, let's put 20 replicas. Okay, and let's apply the changes. Kubectl apply hyphen f and this YAML. Okay, so what it says, the foo is invalid, spec.replicas invalid value 20, spec.replicas in body should be less than or equal to 10. Okay, so this is giving you the validation error, because as soon as you applied the YAML, it does the validation of your custom resource with the custom resource definition, and it see, okay, there is a failed validation. Okay, so the replica should be between 1 and 10, but it's 20, it's not valid. You cannot create the object unless you change the values. Okay, so let's make the change again, and let's keep it, let's say 2. Okay, let's apply it again, and that's it. It says it's created. Now if I do k get foo, okay, you see there is an object of type a object with the name example foo, and it's just been created. This is the CRD, oh sorry, this is the custom resource that you have created. Now you can verify. If you have used controllers, then you will see the deployment as well. But we have not used controllers, so this is just we wanted to check. Now from the exam perspective as well, like they will ask you to check different fields, and if you again have to do like this is because this is a type of a Kubernetes object, right? So you can do a describe on it like how you do any other object. So if I do kubectl describe, oops, let me just, okay, kubectl describe CRD foo. Okay, so it will show you different things, like all the different messages. Accepted name kind foo foo list, and but this is accepted, and this is replicas is 1 to 10. This is based on the CRD. Okay, and all the different specifications of it, like that you have used while creating it, the name is foo. Okay, um actually this is foo is a CR, not a CRD. So if you, let's remove this describe CRD, and then you need to give the CRD name. Now it is showing all the CRDs. The one that we are looking for is this one, sample controller. No, where is the name? Kind metadata group name. Okay, that's to kubectl get CRD. So CRD name is this foos.samplecontroller.kh.io, and if I do describe CRD and the CRD name, then it will show you all the details. Okay. Now you can check all the details. This is name is foos.samplecontrollers.kh.io. Okay. Now if you want to check the details of the custom resource, so kubectl get CR won't show you anything, custom resource won't show you anything because the type is foo. Okay, and if I want to do a describe on it, so kubectl describe foo, which is a resource type, and then the resource name. Okay, so it has this spec, which is deployment name is this, replicas are 2. You won't see any pods, or you won't see any deployment because we have not created the controller logic to watch this and to create the deployments or the pods for you. That's why it's not visible. Okay, but as part of exam again, you will be asked to describe and all those things that we have just did. Plus there'll be one more task to check the fields of CR. For example, let's say in the exam, if it's been asked to um is to ask to show the document for deployment name of the specification. Okay, so for that we know to check any all the API version related details, we use the command kubectl explain and then the name of the resource. Okay, so kubectl explain foo. Okay, and now we need the field from the specification. Okay, so this is the group, this is the version, this is all good, but to get the particular field we do foo dot spec. Okay, dot the name of the field, or if we do foo dot spec, we'll see all the fields. Okay, over here we see deployment name, replicas, and so on, right? But if we need to get the details from one particular field, so foo.spec.deployment name. Okay, so now it is just showing that particular field. Deployment name should be of type string and all the details around it. Now you will be possibly asked to redirect to a file, so which you can do that with the redirection and then the file name, and that should be it. Okay, I guess that's probably it from the exam point of view. These are the exam questions that we have just discussed. For example, if it's been asked to um, extract the documentation of the subject field, this is how you can do that. kubectl explain certificate. So certificate is the type of object over here. Okay, if you want to do that for this, like if there is a certificate manager type of CRD installed already, so you can do that. And if in fact, let me just show you how to do that. so that it will be easier for you. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll install certificate manager as a custom resource using Helm. Okay, so first you will do the Helm repo add. Okay, so let's do clear the screen. Okay, and I'm gonna run this command to add the certificate manager repo. Okay, and then I'm gonna use this command to install the chart. Okay, I'm sure you have watched the Helm chart video and all the different fields of it. If not, you can check it out. It's in the same playlist. I believe there is video somewhere in 40s. You can check it out. So there is this field that I want you to pay attention on. So we have different Helm install, chart name, release name, chart name, and so on, repository with the namespace and create namespace if it does not exist, version. And then there is this field set CRDs dot enable equal to false. That means it's we are instructing Helm to not install the CRDs. Let's say we have installed CRD from some other resource, or we have installed our own CRD. We are instructed Helm to not install the CRDs and install rest of the component. So for that, we keep it as false. Okay, but for now, let's keep it as true so that it should also be installed. But make sure you understand this concept. This is important from the exam point of view. This is how you can install the any Helm chart without the CRD or excluding the CRD. Okay, once this is installed, we can check different fields of certificate manager. Okay, it says is installed. So now if I do kubectl get CRD, okay, so a lot of other CRDs have been installed. So you can just filter it by using a grep on certificate. Okay, so we have certificate request, certificate cert manager. There'll be another video, I guess this is part of operator somewhere, wherein I will explain everything about cert manager and install it properly. But for now, just from the perspective of CRD, I'm explaining. Okay, so this is how you can check the CRD of certificate manager. Now if you have been asked to explain a particular field from the documentation, let's say first let's do a kubectl get certificates. Wait, uh, yeah, it's hard to do recording at home. There is always someone at the door knocking, but good thing is I've got my key. I've got my T. I was supposed to say T. I said key. Okay, so let's come back and let's see kubectl get certificate. Okay, because this is the CRD. Okay, but it's of type certificate. Okay, so I guess certificates. Okay, let's check the CRD. Um, certificates. It should be certificates. Yeah, certificates are cert managers. Oh, maybe because we have not created the certificates. Yeah, it has some additional steps which we'll cover later on. Okay, I don't want to unnecessary drag this video further. So this will be covered in the operator section. We need to create a certificate so that it can issue the certificate. But for now, for now, just if you want to, let's say, explain the documentation for that certification, this is the command that you would use. This is the same that one what we use for the foo resource type. Okay, so this certificate has these many fields, so countries, locality, organization, and so on. Okay, so group is cert manager, kind is certificate, and even though there is no certificate installed, you can still run kubectl explain because it's coming from the CR definition. Okay, so kubectl explains certificates, which is the resource type, dot spec dot subject. Subject is the field that we were looking for. Okay, so over here we needed to get the documentation of subject specification field, and this is how you can get it. Okay, so you can check it, you can use these debugging commands, which we have already seen. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Hope you found it valuable. If yes, thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe the channel if you want. You can hit the like on the video if you want to support the channel, and I will see you soon with the next one. Thank you so much.